Welcome back to Now. It's all happening now at TTT Marval Road as well as on 91.1 FM. I'm Lisa Wickham with you alongside Carrie, Rishi, and we have Nikolai as our little special guest for this time. Guys, we're on the other side of the hour. For those of you just waking up, this is Now, and we're here every day, 6:05 until 8 a.m. just to bring some light, love, energy, and positivity into your homes, wherever you're watching us, and on radio.
And on radio, and online at ttt.live.
That's right.
And talking about bringing positivity, I know people need a lot of positivity right now. Yes. There were 2 earthquakes last night, one at 11:34 p.m., a magnitude 4.2, and one at 7:53 p.m. with a magnitude 4.0. If you felt it, you could let us know how you felt. I didn't feel it. I was actually driving at the first one, and then at the second one, I think I was asleep. I think Gary said he was asleep as well.
I was asleep as well. I needed to get asleep.
No, I was asleep, but I did not
Were you
feel
in the air?
Yeah.
No.
Were you in the air
No,
coming to Trinidad?
No, I was actually on the ground hanging out.
I don't want to feel it. I had enough earthquakes for a while.
Considering how tired I was, that gentle rocking wouldn't have waken me up after that sleep.
I think that's what happened to me as well. Gary, what's happening in your corner?
In my corner, apparently I'm kind of late. Idris Elba produced a movie. Yardy.
Nikolai, he was so excited this morning.
I know, right?
My hot topic this morning is Yardy. I said, but that come out a while ago. But at least it's your hot topic right now.
Yeah, that's right. It's nice to know that Idris is on the other side of the camera this time, directing that was shot in Jamaica.
In Jamaica. Well, and good morning to my people in Jamaica, Natalie Thompson, who's my fellow producer across there. She was a producer on that. People like Kurt Wright and all the, we have the same network in the Caribbean. It's one Caribbean family. And I'm very proud of the Jamaican fraternity on that one.
Nice. Even like talking about the trend on movies, there's a movie Nun.
Yeah.
That they actually shot the
Activation. Yes,
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, we were able to be fortunate. I was the producer on that one very quietly. Warner Brothers and Complex.com came to Trinidad and Tobago. The Nun, which is opening in Trinidad next week, I believe. It's already open worldwide. They wanted to do an activation because the story of the nun has to do with a nun who committed suicide. The Vatican sends someone to investigate. And they did their online research and realized that we have a similar story on Shaka Shakari Island. Did you know that?
I did not.
I did not know that until the activation. But apparently people know it, that there was this nun who committed suicide after it was found out that she was having a relationship with a fisherman, I believe, allegedly. And so that story is there for the world to know. And they came here and did an activation. They brought in some social media influencers. And what I'm very proud to say is that our people, our Trinidad and Tobago filmmakers, people like Romano, Francois, and Leroy Smart, and Chantal Fitzpatrick, and Cedric Smart, and so on, all 13 locals worked on it alongside 3 of the international. Isn't that wonderful, Nikolai?
Yes, that's excellent.
That's wonderful because it helps to develop our infrastructure here and our capability to be able to do films like Hero.
Exactly.
And I think it's time for us to take our leave.
Yes, and you guys shall leave the 2 gentlemen to talk about what's happening with Hero coming up to Trinidad and Tobago next week, premiering at Napa. So, Carrie, it's all yours.
Thanks, Lisa. So, Nikolai, good morning again. Thanks for being here. The big topic is Hero. I know you came pretty much fresh off the plane from Canada to be with us here this morning, so we appreciate that and stuff, So, Hero, tell us a little bit about it. I know it's based on the life of Ulrich Cross. Yeah? What can you tell us?
Well, it follows like a section of his life. It's really from, his early days as a kid, as a child, working, living in Trinidad and studying. And then he leaves and goes to England. So he goes through his England years, and then he goes through his African years when he went to work with the Pan-Africanists, working with Kwame Nkrumah.
Okay, all right. And to you, how does it feel to portray such a significant character, of Trinidad? How does it feel like?
I don't know, man. Quite a few people have asked me that question. I really don't know how to answer that totally. It's overwhelming because on the one hand, you're playing somebody whose shoes, I guess for me, whose shoes I'm wondering, can I possibly fill?
Right, I understand.
And at the same time, because he was so heavily influential, I think, in global issues, just how do I become like that?
Okay. So it's all right. I understand.
It's that personal battle.
Okay, I see. Usually in movies they portray a lot of figures that are foreign to us, foreign to Trinidad and Tobago and stuff like that. And what does it mean to you that there's actually a movie now that is portraying somebody local, you know, a local figure that's historic and means so much to us in Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, I think that's huge, especially for young people,
right?
For the younger generation. I think for a long time, we've not been seeing ourselves in certain lights. You know, people from where we are.
Yeah, that's right.
And I mean, for instance, in the movie, it follows Ulrich's life, but it's really looking at how Caribbean people on the whole have influenced changes in the world.
Right.
You know, and Ulrich meets up with C.L.R. James and George Padmore, two very notable Trinidadians as well. And, you know, I think it's really essential for us to know that we have come from that kind of stock.
Right.
You know, and that we can make that kind of contribution.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like in Trinidad, we have a lot of talented people, a lot of ambitious people, people who are doing and have done a lot for the wider community, the world on the whole and stuff like that. But, you know, sometimes you wouldn't really see them getting the recognition they deserve or the recognition that, you know, is due to them. So having a movie like Hero that is actually portraying one of our very own and, you know, all the contributions he's made, even on the military side of things and how decorated he is really awesome to see that, you know, like, finally, we could say, hey, this is about Trinidad. This is, you know, is our guy.
Yeah.
And all like that,
Definitely.
you know. I understand part of the movie was shot in Ghana.
Yeah,
what was that like?
We've had a nice globe trek.
Yeah, have you ever been to Africa before?
No.
No, so your first time. How was it shooting in Ghana?
Ghana was a revolution of the mind, you know. From getting off the plane and just feeling that heat and, you know, smelling the place, you know, it felt like I stepped back into Piakwe Airport almost. And we just came off of like shooting for a month and a half in England.
Okay, so from that kind of climate, like cold,
and then
maybe rainy,
head into Ghana and we landed there and it felt this rebirth, you know, because it felt old. You step on the land, everything just felt like you aged yourself back a few centuries. You know?
All right.
And just having to experience the culture and the people and feeling as though you were watching Trinidadians almost.
Really?
You know, yeah, it's just a lot of it just reminded me of here. And having to visit the slave castles, because we went to shoot at the slave castles. Well, Cape Coast Castle specifically, but we visited Elmina Castle as well. And experiencing those castles and what they looked like and how they were built and the emotion of walking through the door of no return. It was so much, man.
Yeah, I can understand. It was probably just so like a rich experience. And stuff.
Really rich and life-changing. Kind of makes you question a lot.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, and what was it like, what was challenging while playing the role?
I kind of had to go a little bit deep.
Right.
Into the role for like extended periods of time. But deep, not in the traditional sense of going hardcore in, but rather, I don't know if this makes any sense at all, but like...
I'm listening.
But it was more just depth over a long period of time. You know, subtly, just
until
sinking into a role.
Yeah, okay, I understand.
And yeah, there were times when I didn't even know where I ended and where the character began or vice versa.
I always wonder that about actors and stuff, you know, like how, you know, like when you're preparing for such a big role and, you know, you have to get into character and really portray who that person is or was. And, you know, just where does the transition go between, you know, from being yourself into actually being that person? Is it something that you change on the inside, like from yourself, or is it something that you're able to switch on and off like that, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, the more healthy we would be to just switch on and off, but I think for me, doing Hero, it was working with Frances Ann Solomon.
Right, yes.
And her process of directing required almost a channeling of a character rather than,
understand.
You know, so it was more just living in a person's mentality almost.
Right.
And therefore, that presented a huge challenge, as well as we were indie film as well, you know. So it's a road movie.
All right.
You're on the road, just go, travel from this place to that place.
All right, nice.
Set up shop and having to like deal with things from the standpoint of an indie film. You know, and the challenges.
Right. What would you say was your most memorable moment before we go?
Most memorable moment. I would still say I have to say the slave castles. I would still say that. Like
slave castles.
Just being there and I walked through the door of no return and jumped in the air, and that just was freeing.
All right, nice. Well, thank you so much for giving us all that like information about the movie. You know, again, as Lisa said, it's going to show on the 18th. But right now, we're going to go over to Rishi, who has a package for us, and I will send it over to Rishi right now.
Thank you very much, Carrie. We do have the trailer for that movie, and we will get to that a little bit later on the morning show.